We are rolling.
Oh,
Rolling.
God.
Hello.
Oh, God.
In 5, 4.
Hello. That's fine. All right.
Yo.
Okay. In 5, 4, 3. Hello and welcome to the very first episode of In the Picture, your source for movie review, discussion, and recommendation. My name is Preston Fosbeck, and I'm joined by awesome Shane Jones
Well, hello there.
and Miles Carden.
Hello.
Today we're going to talk about the 2018 films we're most looking forward to, but first, Shane and Miles are going to share their favorite films of 2017. Because I saw next to nothing last year, I'm going to let them take it away. Shane, Miles, top 10 films of 2017. Go.
All right. Well, we just want to clarify before we get into this. We didn't actually agree on all the top films. So what we did was we came up with our top 5 and combined those into a list. There are 2 films that appeared in both of our top 5 lists, and we're going to save both of those for last. But I guess and this is in no particular order, so we'll just get right into it. Shane, do you want to start us off?
I suppose I can do that. All right, so unlike what Miles is about to tell you, I think the best Marvel movie of 2017, and my first choice is Thor Ragnarok. Pretty much everything I want in a Marvel movie. You got Thor, Doctor Strange, the Hulk, and a lot of awesome action and comedy, as well as, for once, besides Loki, an amazing villain. And I don't know, just everything about it was great. To me, it just flowed perfectly. You got to see the Hulk better than ever, the Thor better than ever, Doctor Strange just a little bit. And Anthony Hopkins, Loki, I mean, it was just cram-packed with everything you could possibly want from a Marvel movie. And on to Miles.
Yes. Well, my pick for best Marvel movie, Spider-Man: Homecoming. And there's one main reason for this is, for me, it was like the best of a lot of things. It was the best Spider-Man I think we've gotten. Shane and probably everyone else will disagree. I thought it was the best Marvel movie we've gotten to date. I think Tom Holland is the best version of Spider-Man that we've gotten. I love just how vulnerable he is in the movie, and just how insanely likable he is. He's someone that I just feel like everybody can relate to and really root for. And then last but definitely not least of all, Michael Keaton as Vulture, I think has been the best Marvel villain we've gotten to date. He's definitely the most developed. You really understand where he's coming from, and you can't not like necessarily disagree with him all the time, and I just think it makes a very intriguing villain. So that's why Spider-Man: Homecoming was my pick.
All right, and on to the next movie that is my choice, is another adaptation of It, the Stephen King book that we never asked for 2 adaptations of, but we got anyways. It actually turned out to be one of my favorite movies of 2017, only because it perfectly captured horror as well as comedy and adapted the book pretty well. Everybody in it, from the kids to the bullies to Pennywise, was, I think, perfect in their roles. And from start to finish, I never wanted the movie to end. Now on to Miles.
So actually, by just sheer coincidence, my next pick is also kind of a horror film, Get Out. Now, of all the films that came out in 2017, I think this one will have the longest shelf life, just because of how daring it was and how smart it was, calling out not only just like extreme racism, but also casual racism. And it did it in such like a suspenseful, it was suspenseful, it was funny, and it just balanced those 2 aspects of it perfectly, and also did justice to the horror genre. And I just thought like it was just so unique. There's few movies out there that do that, and I just really appreciate it for doing what it did. Shane.
All right, my next choice is another movie that just came out of nowhere, really, and kind of building off the success of Margot Robbie, was I, Tonya, the kind of brutal, gritty, and uncensored version of her life and pretty much everything that came with the controversy around her and how she got into all the trouble that she got into. And you have Sebastian Stan, the Winter Soldier, and all these kind of big names that you wouldn't expect in a movie like this that just popped up and kind of gave their best performances that I've seen so far, including Margot Robbie, as well as much as I liked her in The Wolf of Wall Street and hated her in Suicide Squad, I thought she was great in I, Tonya.
All right. My next pick is from Christopher Nolan, Dunkirk. So I guess kind of one of my biases is that I love films that can tell a story visually without relying on any exposition, and this movie does it perfectly. Just basically, you could watch it with the sound off, and you could understand everything that was happening and following it just as well as the sound was on. But the sound comes in like big because it like there's just so many scenes where it's just like kind of almost silent, and then just like bullets are ripping through holes and it just jolts you, you know, because it's so unexpected. It's just sight and sound at the top of its game. When I saw it in the theaters, there was a guy sitting next to me and he jumped out of his skin like 5 times. There's not enough good things I can say about a movie when they do that. Some other notable exceptions of films that do that are like Mad Max Fury Road and Mel Gibson's Apocalypto. They're both action movies that just do such a great job at telling a story visually, and I can't wait to see the next film that is able to do that. Shane.
All right. Let me hold on. Clear your throat now. All right, my next choice is what I would put in my top 3 favorite movies of 2017. Yet it totally got snubbed in the Academy Awards, I think, is Molly's Game, a movie starring Jessica Chastain, who totally convinces you that she is the #1 genius of that movie. She's like so smart and tells you what she's doing, and you could follow along with her, and it's kind of like a villainous role, yet you kind of believe that she's doing the right thing. And then the other people in it are Kevin Costner, who just plays another perfect dad role, and Idris Elba, who I think got snubbed for Best Supporting Actor as her lawyer. And just, it's such a smart movie that makes you just, I don't know, there's so many movies out there that makes you like feel brain dead when you walk out of it, aka Transformers. Yet Molly's Game makes you feel like you were on an entire lesson the entire movie, and then it's just, you leave it feeling satisfied.
Well, speaking of leaving satisfied, my next pick is Blade Runner 2049. Now, I'm a colossal fan of the first film, and the first film is held, especially among like film buffs and film students and critics, like it's held on such a high pedestal. It's like, why is this sequel getting made 30 years later? Like, it doesn't need to happen, and it's, you know, it's an impossible task at the same time. However, I'm very glad they made this movie, because it totally does justice to the first film. It builds upon a lot of the themes and expands upon a lot of the themes of the first film. It doesn't just like retread the same ground like some of the reboots do. You know, the really only the really debate between fans of the original and this one is which is better. But pretty much everybody's on the page that they're both same page when they say that they're both really great. And it's out of all these films, it's the most gorgeous film to look at. If Roger Deakins, the cinematographer, does not win the cinematography award at the Oscars for this, I know a lot of people don't care about that kind of award, but a great injustice will have been done. I could go on for hours about this film, but we don't have that much time. So, is that our 4? So what we're going to do now is talk about the 2 films that appeared on both of our lists. And each one was actually our #1 pick. So which one do you want to talk about first, Shane? you want to talk about? Well, okay, because I think we both have an opinion on which one is going to win Best Picture. So let's talk about that one last. So the first one that appeared on both of our lists was Three Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri. The director and writer of that film, Martin McDonagh, he's probably currently right now my favorite writer-director. His two previous films were In Bruges and Seven Psychopaths. And he has this very distinct brand of dark humor, and it's often crude and very violent, and nobody does it as well as he does, in my opinion. And Three Billboards is definitely, I think, his most mature film, and I don't know if you want to expand upon that a little bit, Shane. Or...
Oh yeah, definitely. It's great. I mean, they don't hide from anything. They just kind of throw everything at you. They throw a villain in your face and make you love him by the end of the movie. They throw somebody that you love and then make you hate her by the end of the movie. It's great.
Yeah, especially I mean, Frances McDormand is just phenomenal. Like her, she definitely deserved that Golden Globe win. The film deserved the Golden Globe win. But also Sam Rockwell's character. Let's talk about that. Like, you've got this vile character, like somebody that, you know, it's like you just love to hate it. Like, oh, I can't wait to see that guy get what's coming to him. And then it does. And then you kind of feel bad for him. And then there's like this second half of the movie where you're just like almost rooting for him. You are rooting for him. And by the end, like, you find yourself in a completely different place where you thought you were going to end up. And I just like movies that you can't predict the outcome, and it really tugs on you quite a bit. Yeah, it's Three Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri. Everybody needs to go see it. Don't bring the kids though. Don't bring the kids to our next choice either.
Yeah, our next choice is what I say is movie of the year, and what I think is going to sweep the Academy Awards is The Shape of Water, a movie that I've been looking forward to for a long time. Guillermo del Toro's next movie, and to be honest, he's a big director to me. I love and will go see every single movie. I went and saw Crimson Peak when nobody else did. I went and saw Pacific Rim when a lot of people didn't. I just will go see any of his movies that he puts out just because of his name. And to me, The Shape of Water was actually like a quality movie that I could defend and say is the best movie of 2017. Every character is multi-layered. The villain is fantastic. The fish dude in it looks great, even though it's kind of a weird story. It's like a little mix between Beauty and the Beast and that fish guy from Hellboy. And just from start to finish, it's just an amazing story that could only come from the mind of Guillermo del Toro to me, and that's what makes it the top movie of 2017.
Yeah,
for me.
I really appreciate this movie a hell of a lot as well. Mostly just being like such a fan of like I'm a huge film buff, and so I've studied film and I know all about its history and everything, and this was a film like made by a film lover for film fans. Like, I don't know if I'm reading into it too much, but there's a really old classic film, The Creature from the Black Lagoon, and like I felt like the sea creature in this one like mimicked that pretty heavily. And there's just like all these kind of metaphors, I think, just for kind of the state of cinema, or just like how they fear it, like the fear, you know, that cinema's going away. Like they had that theater, you know, showing like the big epic movies, and it was empty. And I just kind of felt like the whole like Sally Hawkins character trying to save the creature, it's almost like a metaphor for like, you know, trying to save film. And it had a really like old school feel. Like it felt fresh, but it was kind of familiar. Like it felt like something that would have been like a story that might have been told like back in the 50s or something. And I think Hollywood loves movies about itself, and so I think that's probably why it's going to win Best Picture and do really well at the Academy Awards. But it's also just a straight up quality flick. I mean, Sally Hawkins, like, I don't know. Frances McDormand comes close, but like, how could you not fall in love with Sally Hawkins after Shape of Water? and Michael Shannon as the villain. It's probably the most relevant villain, unfortunately, given all the state of Hollywood and the reckonings that are happening there. But yeah, I don't disagree that it's definitely one of the best movies. I still, just for my taste, like I think I prefer the brand of Three Billboards a little bit more, just for its originality. But Shape of Water is definitely quality stuff.
Well, yeah, and the thing that gives The Shape of Water the edge for me is it just, in like an era of CGI fest, blockbuster after blockbuster, it feels like a movie again, like an actual film that you're watching, like something I haven't felt since I watched Indiana Jones for the first time or Star Wars for the first time. It just felt thoroughly like a movie, and that's what made me love it so much.
Yeah, totally agree. All right, well, that is our list of our top movies for 2017. I don't know if, what you guys have been watching the last years, but if you haven't seen any of those and are thinking about it and you go out and watch them, let us know, even if you didn't, care for it, or if you're like, oh my God, guys, that was awesome, you're right. Let us know, because that makes us feel good.
Well, yeah, and then other than those, there were so many good movies this year that it was tough to put out a top 10 list.
So, yeah, it was very difficult.
And a couple movies that we thought we'd give honorable mentions to are The Post, Steven Spielberg's movie about the Washington Post, as well as Baby Driver, who...
it kept me up at night to exclude Baby Driver from the list.
For sure.
That was a lot of fun. I'm a huge Edgar Wright fan as well.
Yeah, and then there's War for the Planet of the Apes, which that movie, although the title's incredibly misleading, I think is the perfect kind of ending to the Planet of the Apes trilogy that they've put out.
And the best of the three.
Yeah. As well as putting out CGI that just like blew our minds. Like I thought I saw horses being ridden by apes in that movie, like legitimately. I was kind of blown away.
Yep, me too. It's top of the line stuff.
Yeah.
Andy Serkis, Andy Serkis, and nobody else I don't think could have pulled that off either as Caesar. 3 movies in. But now we get to look forward to him in Black Panther. No CGI covering his face up.
That's what they tell you.
You get to see him in the flesh.
Have you ever seen Andy Serkis in real life? I don't think he actually looks like that. I think this is
like he has 2
motion
arms
graphics.
in real life.
Not motion graphics, motion capture.
So you're saying the real life Andy Serkis is actually a motion capture Andy Serkis?
I'm saying he looks exactly like Snoke in real life, and everything else is him CG'd to look normal.
I saw him like King Kong down the street the other day.
All right, should we move on to what we're looking forward to in 2018?
Yes, let's look to the future.
Do we each have a set number? I've got like 5, and they're just kind of whatever. I don't really look forward to movies.
Who invited this guy?
Look. I mean, I will, if I watch a movie and I like it, I like that movie. If I watch it and I don't like it, I don't like it. But
So
I'm not going to base an opinion on whether or not I'm looking forward to it based on 90 seconds of clips.
So you don't like hear or you don't just like by chance see a trailer or like go on to Variety and see like, oh, this movie was announced, and then they're like, oh God, like I can't believe they're making this, or like see the trailer like this looks so cool. Like
Almost never.
Oh my goodness.
Just take your
Sometimes I
feeling
do,
for
but
Annihilation
very rarely.
and
That-
include it to
that's-
everything, okay?
Honestly, what I just described is like me every week. So.
Yeah, I get you.
But you've looked at, because we made you. you looked at what's coming out. So
I did, yeah.
what did grab your interest?
Well, number 1's probably going to be Annihilation, the new Natalie Portman film that's directed by Alex Garland. Is that right?
Something
the guy
like
who
that.
wrote and directed Ex Machina,
Yeah.
wrote Sunshine, one of my favorite movies.
No.
Despite its flaws. Or it used to be one of my favorite movies. Every time I've watched it since then, I've liked it a lot less. But
We
he
won't.
also wrote 28 Days Later. I mean, he's just had a hand in some fantastic films. And I think, his track record is pretty clear. Well, maybe not that clear.
It's
depending on,
Ex Machina was one of my favorite movies when it came out that year.
Yeah.
Was it like 2 years ago?
I like a good gritty sci-fi, and from what I hear, the book that this is based on is really good, and I just really want to see Natalie Portman shoot a machine gun. So
Yeah, I mean, and Natalie's great in everything she does, and the fact that you got this guy who just gave us a movie like Ex Machina, it's like, I mean, it's kind of one of the directors you have your eye on. Like, you see that movie and you're like, oh, I wonder what that guy's gonna do next. This is what he's gonna do next.
very true. How about you, Shane? What are you looking forward to?
So what I'm looking forward to is what I believe will be the next big thing, like the next vampire movie, the next teen novel movie or superhero movie, is the video game genre. Something that's happened so many times before and has failed every single time. I thought it would be great with Assassin's Creed or Warcraft, but obviously was wrong. But now it looks like they're giving it a legitimate chance again. One more try, and it looks like they're doing that with Tomb Raider. Elisa Vikander, who we were talking about just a minute ago, is back as Lara Croft, and although the first trailer looked terrible to me, the next trailer sold me quite a bit, and Elisa Vikander is one of my favorite actresses or
Speaking of
upcoming
Ex Machina.
actresses. Yeah. And so, I mean, her name alone pretty much buys my ticket.
I'm actually really looking forward to Tomb Raider as well. And like our opinions on that were ditto. Like the first trailer came out, and then second I was like, all right, this is more got like the Indiana Jones vibe. Like I can get behind this. One that I'm really looking forward to. This is probably won't get a mass release, but Wes Anderson's Isle of Dogs. It's his second stop motion film. His first being Fantastic Mr. Fox. If you don't know who Wes Anderson is by now, you probably aren't going to be interested in this movie. He's definitely has his own brand, and it's he's got kind of the one shtick, and he does it very well, and either you like it or you don't. And so, if you should already know by now where you fall on the spectrum of Wes Anderson. But it seems like he always delivers to his audience. And especially with Grand Budapest Hotel, like I'll contradict what I said a little bit. Like the audience is growing a little bit. Like people who haven't heard of him are kind of discovering like, oh yeah, this is neat, this is different. Anytime he comes out with something, I'm always looking forward to it.
Well, yeah, I mean, whether it's the Grand Budapest Hotel or Moonrise Kingdom, I think he's been a fantastic director throughout the years, and he's one of those guys where, like, if he's making a movie, count me in.
Yeah, I feel the same way, really. I'm looking forward to that one as well.
One thing I don't think we clarified, so we're talking about upcoming movies that we're looking forward to. We were just kind of focusing on the next few months. So this isn't like for the whole year. This is kind of just like, oh, okay, what's coming up through April? I think we all, like Shane and I, are both big fans of the book Ready Player One, but we're kind of, we don't really know how to feel about the film based on like the trailers that we've seen. Like we're hopeful, but it looks like it's gonna be a very loose adaptation. And just kind of what we've seen so far. Like if I didn't have the knowledge of the book, I don't think I would have been too excited about it.
Yeah, I'm not very excited about it. I haven't read the book, so.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, it just looks like a rehash of every movie and video game ever made, to some extent. So I don't really know. I mean, that doesn't grab me. I'm sure it grabs a lot of people, but.
Yeah, and Ready Player One is my favorite book, and I'm not afraid to admit that. So when they said they were making a book, I was just like, or when they said they were making a film out of it, I was like, there is no possible way you could do that. There's so many different things and characters and references that there's no way every single one of those could be told, as well as like being legally possible to put all those in one movie. And then they released the first trailer, and the whole first trailer was about like a big car scene that doesn't even take place in the book, and it looks like a big chunk of the movie is going to be about that. And I don't know. Visually, sure, it's Steven Spielberg, but I don't know.
TBD.
Well, Shane and I, just because we're so attached to the book, like we're gonna go see it. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't. like I hope it's good. But just like, but yeah, nothing has like really gotten me excited just from what I've seen.
Yeah, and it sounds like we are hating on this movie pretty hard, but
but we're still looking forward to it.
yeah, there's no doubt that I'm gonna be there, and Miles is probably gonna be there.
I can't hate on a movie I haven't seen, so
Yeah.
I'm not hating on it. Don't get me wrong.
One movie that I think we're predicting to be a massive success, and I think I don't want to speak for everybody, but I think we're all looking forward to it. The Black Panther movie coming out very soon. The trailers for that really drew me in. Like I just love the whole vibe. I love how it's introducing a new cast of characters.
It's got swagger, you know. That's what I noticed when I saw the trailer.
It does have the trailer does have a lot of swagger. But yeah, I mean, Marvel I think has been hitting a high note recently, especially with coming off of Thor, Ragnarok, and Spider-Man: Homecoming, like we mentioned. And I predict that trend continuing with Black Panther.
Yeah, and as we speak, Black Panther holds 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, so that has me pretty confident that it's going to be great. But before even that, a movie that like blew my mind when I saw it was Creed. I hated the Rocky movies. I don't like any of them. But Creed,
hate is a very strong word.
I don't know, those movies that everybody thinks are so like untouchable and golden classics. Yeah, I never understood why people liked Rocky. But Creed though, Creed was amazing. And Ryan Coogler's back to direct Black Panther, and he's bringing Michael B. Jordan with him, which I've heard is going to be a pretty great villain. So it looks like Marvel's kind of on their villain trend for the better. I mean, they've always had terrible villains, and from what it sounds like, this will be their third villain in a row that's actually good. And that's what makes me excited, because the villain could kind of make or break a Marvel movie for me.
I'm just afraid that I'll like Michael B. Jordan's villain a lot more than the protagonist. I did not care for the protagonist in Civil War, but I love Michael B. Jordan, so I don't know. We'll see.
We will see. And it is very likely that in the future we will be discussing all of these movies after we've seen them. So we hope you join us for those as well.
All right, so is that it?
Yeah, that's all I got. Well, is anyone... Pacific Rim is also coming out, but is anyone really looking forward to that?
Didn't see
after Del Toro dropped out, the excitement kind of declined a little bit.
What about Don't Worry, He Won't Get Far on Foot? You guys excited about that one?
What?
I don't even know what that is.
You haven't seen the trailer for that?
No.
Oh, I should have played it for you guys. I'm sorry.
What is it?
Is it about a guy that doesn't get far on foot?
Yes, it is. He's in a wheelchair. So it's about this.
That's not
Okay.
It's based on a true story. It's about a cartoonist named John Callahan, played by Joaquin Phoenix, who lived in Portland. And I don't know if you guys ever saw the cartoon Pelswick growing up.
Yeah,
okay.
no.
It was on Nickelodeon, but he created it basically. And it just looks like a really interesting character drama. We got Joaquin Phoenix, Rooney Mara, Jack Black, and Jonah Hill. And Gus Van Sant is directing, so I think that's going to be a pretty cool movie. The trailer looks really cool.
Well, I don't even need to see the trailer. You sold me.
Yeah, man. So I'm looking forward to that one,
it's
especially because it was filmed in Portland. I don't know if our listeners know, but we're based in Portland, Oregon.
Portland.
And I'm always excited to see a little local film like that. So,
definitely. The last one we did, well, in part, was Wild, wasn't it? Wasn't that like the last big one to somewhat film in the...
I don't know.
Not necessarily Portland, but at least like in the Northwest and in Oregon.
I never saw Wild.
You see Wild.
Okay.
I'm in it.
Reese
You are?
Witherspoon.
Are you thinking of Twilight? Is that what?
No, not Twilight.
Kids from my high school are in that one.
But did she have a spoon in that movie? So she was Reese without her spoon.
I would, if I was a bet.
Dad joke of the day.
And on that note, I think we're gonna have to call it a night. This has been In the Picture. If you want to find us on social media, you can tweet at us at Ask in the Picture, and I believe that is also our Facebook page. Is that right? Ask in the Picture.
Oh,
Yeah, that one.
Okay, we're getting everything set up. We'll have more social media for you guys to follow some other time.
If you need to get a hold of us, send like a messenger raven.
Oh, you can also email us at askinthepicture@gmail.com, correct?
At Outlook.
At Outlook.com.
Yeah, we couldn't afford a Gmail, so.
If you're listening
Gmail's
to this,
too
chances are
pricey.
you just already know us anyways, and that's the only reason you're listening. So just
If you've
call
made it
us
this
up.
far.
Hi, Mom. Thanks for listening.
Nah, they stopped listening 5 minutes in, man. But
Yeah, probably.
And then I started talking.
okay, with that, we're going to call it a night. Say goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, listeners.
Goodbye, people.
We'll see you next week or sometime in the future.
At some point.
All right. We're out.